friends, it's Emma. So due to the recent death of an icon for so many people, depression has been the talking point of all social media. Unfortunately, Robin Williams suffered with depression and that led to a really horrific suicide, so it's been reported. Depression is such a huge thing and unfortunately people don't view it as serious as it is. In my opinion, it should be as widely known about as cancer, for instance. Depression is a mental illness. It's not something that people can see. It's something that goes on in people's heads, and because people can't see it, it's then not viewed as serious as it is. So people who are suffering with it feel like they're on their own. They're in their own little box and they feel like they can't talk to people. They haven't got that lifeline like people with cancer do. It's like broadcasted to everyone all the time, constant, on your TV, on the internet, everywhere. But depression, not so much. And I feel that it's just as important as something as big as cancer is. It's such a shame because personally I know a lot of people who have suffered with depression, and generally that's accompanied with something called anxiety. They feel like they're on their own, and anyone who could be watching this now could be suffering with it themselves, and again they feel like they're on their own. It shouldn't be that way. They should feel that they've got help. There should be someone that they can talk to, and there is. There are so many people that can be spoken to, and people need to be more aware of what these different things are. I've suffered with anxiety and depression, and it ruined my life. I went through my last year of school where a lot of stuff happened that put me in a bad place, and by the time I got to college I just wasn't ready for it, and I ended up quitting after a month. After that I spent a year not working, no education. I sat in my room every day, all day, for a year. I wouldn't leave the house because I just didn't want to. I was so caught up in my head and I was so upset all the time, and I was terrified to just go out in public. I couldn't do it. It took a huge chunk of my life away from me. Looking back on it now, I think, why did I wait a year before I went and spoke to somebody? Why? Because I went through that year of just hating everything, and despite the fact that I had, my best friends there, my family, I still felt like I was on my own because constantly I felt like no one understood. No one could know what was going on in my head. No one knows. And I was so stuck in this little box. I would never want to go back to that again. I still suffer with anxiety now. I can't do the tiniest things because I'm just so terrified, and I laugh at myself. I think it's silly because I'm like, well, everyone else can do this. Why can't I do it? I can't answer the phone without feeling terrified of who's on the end. I don't know what I'm going to say to them. It's just this huge feeling of uncertainty that terrifies me. I can't get up on the bus and press the bell without feeling anxious and scared because all these people are going to be looking at me. Because nobody can see it, no one wants to believe it. And people who do suffer are struggling to do things on their own. And for me, that's really upsetting because I know what it's like. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are suffering with what you think could be anxiety or depression, speak to someone. Just let it all out to someone. You can't sit in your little box because it could ruin your life. You could be stuck in a place you don't want to be in and you can't get out of it. I can't stress this enough. There are people you can talk to. If you're not comfortable physically speaking to somebody, type to them. What do I do? Just type to them. Typing is the best way to do it because if you write something you don't like, you just press delete. Just delete it all. and then you start again. You try again. If you speak to someone that you don't know about it, that wants to listen and wants to help, they can't judge you. They are given this piece of information, and regardless of the reasons that you are suffering with this depression or this anxiety, they're willing to help. The consequences of depression can be huge and devastating, and it can affect a lot of different people. It needs to be broadcasted. People need to know what is going on in your little heads that's making you feel broken. Everyone should be happy. Don't let your life be sucked up by something that can be treated, that can be sorted and banished, because it can. And although you're sat there and you're thinking, no, it's not happening, it can happen, it can be fixed, but you've just got to speak to somebody and be willing to help yourself. But to those who don't suffer, to those who do have happy lives and are enjoying every waking second, be aware of what people can feel, what people do feel, and do not ever, ever accuse somebody of attention seeking. It makes them feel like nobody cares, and that's awful in the best of times, never mind someone who is suffering, who needs help but can't find it. People need to be more aware, they need to be more tolerant. So if you've been watching this video and you are suffering and you want help, I'm going to leave in the description, down in the bottom, loads of different ways that you can find help. There's going to be phone numbers, emails, charities, my Twitter, because I want to help. If you do need help, please ask for it. If you're asked for help, then please do everything you can to show this person that they are not on their own, because eventually that could lead to terrible consequences, and all it takes is a little bit of tolerance and a little bit of patience